My friends, I want to start tonight with a simple confession. What I am about to say may sound like the easiest sentence I have ever spoken, and yet it is also one of the hardest truths for people to truly live. Many hear it, many agree with it, many even feel inspired by it for a moment, but then they go home unchanged. Not because they did not understand the words, they did. They understood them in the same way a person admires a rare coin, turns it over in the hand, notices its shine, and then slips it into a pocket without ever using it. Tonight I am asking you not just to hear this idea, but to spend it, to use it, to let it enter the deeper place in you where your life is actually being formed. Because if this truth reaches that place, it will not merely improve a few outer conditions. It will break apart the old story you have been telling yourself about why your life looks the way it does. And that old story may be the only wall still standing between you and the life you say you want. So stay with me here, because this part matters. What I am saying tonight is not a nice thought. It is not motivational wallpaper. It is not something to nod at and forget before breakfast. It is a key. And if you really use it, things begin to move. Slowly at first, then all at once. Here is the truth. Your world is your consciousness made visible. Not vaguely similar to it, not loosely connected to it in some poetic sense. I mean, your world is your inner state pushed out into form, stretched across the screen of time and space, and made to look like an outside reality, acting on you from the distance. But it is not separate. It is not independent. It is not running on rules that stand above you and decide your fate while you wait below. Every person you meet, every number in your bank account, every text that comes in, every silence that stays too long, every smile, every rejection, every delay, every opening, all of it is showing you something that began within you. These are not random events dropping out of the sky. They are not life attacking you. They are life reporting you. That is the difference. The world is not the cause of your experience. It is the evidence of your experience. It is the visible report of what you have accepted as true about yourself, about other people, about love, about money, about worth, about struggle, about what someone like you can expect from life. And yes, that may feel sharp. Good, it should. Because if you soften this truth too much, it becomes a quote instead of a turning point. And I do not want to give you another quote. I want to hand you a door. Keep listening, because the next part changes everything. When I speak about what your consciousness has accepted, I am not talking about your wishes. I am not talking about what you wrote in your notebook this morning, or what you said you wanted at the start of the year. I am not talking about the affirmations you repeat while another voice inside quietly says, "This is not true." I am talking about something deeper, older, more honest. I am talking about the feeling beneath the words, the settled sense of self that lives below your surface thinking, the hidden assumption that has been with you for so long that it no longer feels like a belief at all. It feels like reality. It feels obvious. It feels normal. That is why it is hard to catch. It is like a sound in a house you grew up in. After a while you stop hearing it, but it is still there, filling the rooms, shaping the atmosphere, influencing everything. In the same way, Your silent inner assumptions hum beneath your days. I am not chosen. Love leaves. People forget me. Money is hard. Life works for others, not for me. I always have to prove my worth. These ideas may not speak loudly, but they speak constantly, and the world mirrors them with exact loyalty. Not your dreams, not your effort, not your public words, your accepted state. That is why two people can want the same thing and get different results. One wishes, the other assumes. One begs, the other quietly occupies. One tries to convince the world, the other changes the source. That is where the real shift begins. Think of your life as a mirror. A mirror does not judge. A mirror does not reward good behavior. A mirror does not feel sorry for you because you had a hard week. It does not flatter you because you have been trying very hard lately. It simply gives back the image placed before it, calmly, exactly, without emotion. Now step away from the bathroom mirror and look at your whole life in that same way. The relationship you are in is a mirror. The relationship you cannot seem to find is a mirror. The money that comes easily or stays far away is a mirror. The body you live in, the way strangers respond to you, the tone of your ordinary days, the number of obstacles that appear before noon, the speed at which doors open or close, all of it is reflecting something inward. And I know the mind rises up here with objections. Surely some things just happen. Surely some people are simply rude. Surely some situations are outside of thee. Of course the mind says that. The mind has been trained to see itself as a passenger in a world it did not create. But that belief itself is part of the mirror. The moment you decide life is happening to you, you hand away the only creative power you actually have. You give the pen to a writer who does not exist, and then you spend years wondering why the story never changes. But you are not the passenger. You are the author. Maybe not deliberately, maybe not consciously, but still you have been writing all along. This becomes even more powerful when we talk about people, because this is where the teaching touches a nerve. The friend who keeps disappointing you may be reflecting a settled belief that people cannot be counted on. The partner who pulls away may be showing you a deep assumption that love fades, cools, or leaves when it matters most. The boss who never sees your value may be mirroring your own quiet belief that your worth is difficult to notice, difficult to honor, difficult to choose without struggle. Now listen carefully, because this part must be held with care. This does not mean pain is your moral failure. It does not mean every hard event came because you were bad, weak, broken, or spiritually wrong. It does not mean you should blame yourself for cruelty or carry extra shame. No, the point is not blame. The point is freedom. If the outer world reflects an inner assumption, then what hurts you is not a life sentence. It is feedback. It is information. It is a signal pointing to something that can be revised. That changes everything. A signal is not a verdict. A signal says, look here. Something old is active. Something hidden is speaking. Something can be changed at the source. And if the source changes, the reflection must change too. It has no true choice in the matter. A mirror cannot argue with a new face. It can only return it. That is the hope in this message. Not that you must become perfect, but that you are not trapped by what you have been seeing. I have watched this happen in quiet but undeniable ways. A man once lived for years feeling unseen in his own marriage, not openly hated, not loudly rejected, just missed, looked past, as if his presence barely landed in the room. He could have fought about it. He could have demanded more attention, more proof, more signs. Instead, he turned inward. He found the old assumption. It was simple and painful. I am the kind of man people overlook. He did not attack that thought with force. He revised it. He began to inwardly occupy the feeling of being fully seen, naturally valued, warmly recognized without effort. He returned to that state again and again, not as performance, not as a trick, but as a new home. At first it felt strange, then it felt possible, then it felt normal. And once it felt normal, his world began to answer. His wife looked at him differently. Conversations changed. Co-workers responded with more ease. New people entered his life and treated him as if he had always been someone obvious, someone clear, someone worth noticing. Was that magic? In a way, yes, but not the kind people imagine. It was simply the mirror obeying a new original. The inner broadcast changed, and the outer screen had to update. If that sentence hits you, pause on it. Read it again in your mind, because this is where many people click away from the truth. They want results without revision. They want new reflections while staying the old self. But life does not work that way. Your life speaks in layers, and learning to read those layers will save you years of confusion. The first layer is events, calls, bills, messages, delays, approvals, losses, sudden openings, things that happen loudly and demand attention. Most people spend all their energy here, trying to push circumstances around with force, reacting to every change on the surface, like that is where power lives. But surface events are only the echo. The second layer is relationships. Who stays? Who withdraws? Who values you? Who ignores you? Who speaks with warmth? Who speaks with distance? This layer is more intimate and often more revealing because it exposes what you have accepted about your own lovability, importance, and place in the human world. Then there is the third layer, and this one may be the most honest of all, the atmosphere of your life, the general weather of your days. Do little things tend to support you or resist you? Do small openings appear often, or does life feel tight, delayed, and heavy from morning to night? Are you moving through a climate of ease, or a climate of friction so familiar you now call it personality? This atmospheric layer tells the truth with unusual clarity. It does not show your stated desire, it shows your being. And the amazing thing is that these three layers almost always agree. The events, the relationships, the atmosphere, they sing in the same key. They're all telling the same story from different angles. Change the original within, and all three layers begin to move, not always at the same speed, but in the same direction. There is one dangerous mistake people make with this principle, and I want to pull it out into the light before it harms you. Some people hear this teaching and turn it into a weapon against themselves. Every difficult moment becomes proof of inner failure. Every rude person becomes a sign of secret damage. Every money problem becomes evidence that they are spiritually wrong. They move through life in a state of nervous self-questioning, always asking, what did I do? What is wrong with me? What am I projecting now? That is not wisdom. That is self-torture wearing spiritual clothes. The mirror is not there to accuse you. It is there to inform you. That is a huge difference. You do not need to inspect every passing moment with fear. You do not need to treat every inconvenience like a cosmic crime scene. Once or twice a day is enough. Step back. Notice the overall texture. Are you being met by life with ease or resistance? Are you moving in a climate of welcome or tension? Just notice it. No drama, no blame, no heavy story. Because once you know the texture, you know where to work. And where you work is not outlier. You do not fix the reflection piece by piece, like someone fighting with an image in glass. You return to the one before the mirror. You return to self. You return to the inner state you have been unconsciously carrying. Then you revise, quietly, faithfully. This is slower than panic, but stronger than force. And if you stay with me, the next move will become very clear. Revision happens through feeling, not through begging, not through endless mental argument, not through trying to bully the rational mind into agreement, while it keeps producing 10 new doubts for every one thought you replace. The change happens when you begin to inhabit the state of the person who already is what you desire to become. Not the person who wants it, not the person who is trying to get it, the person who already lives there. There is a huge difference. One is reaching, one is resting, one is chasing, one is being. If you want love, the state is not longing for love. It is the inner calm of being loved. If you want money, the state is not fighting scarcity. It is the settled ease of being supported. If you want respect, the state is not demanding it from others. It is the natural feeling of already being worthy of it. This is not fake behavior. It is not acting. It is deeper than that. It is learning to dwell inwardly, where your desired life is already normal. And yes, at first this may feel unfamiliar. But unfamiliar does not mean false. It often means new. Keep returning there. Let it become less of a practice and more of a residence. Let it feel ordinary. Let it lose drama. That is the sign it is sinking in. Because the true fulfilled state is usually not loud. It is quiet, simple, almost plain. It carries no strain. The person who already has the thing is not emotionally screaming about it all day. They are settled. That settled inner climate is the new source. And once the source is real, the world begins to reshape around it. So what do you actually do with this? 3 simple movements. First, stop arguing with reflections. When something difficult appears, the old habit is to fight the outer form directly, to wrestle with the result while leaving the cause untouched. Sometimes outer action is needed, yes, but real change asks a different question first. What is this showing me about the state I have been living in? And do I want to keep being that version of myself? If the answer is no, stop feeding the scene with panic and turn toward the source. Second, stop trying so hard to change other people. This may be one of the most freeing truths you will ever hear. People often seem fixed because you have been meeting them from a fixed state. Change the assumption, and the role they have been playing can shift. Sometimes the same person softens, opens, returns, listens, values, or responds in a new way without long explanations. Sometimes they leave, and new people arrive who fit your new state far better. Either way, the casting changes when the inner script changes. Third, be deeply gentle with yourself. If your world reflects your inner life, then the way you speak to yourself matters more than almost anything else. If your inner speech is harsh, life often echoes that harshness back. If your inner tone becomes kinder, more patient, more forgiving, The world begins to feel different at the edges first, then at the center. This part is not soft or optional, it is foundational. The way you hold yourself becomes the atmosphere in which your whole life grows. And if that lands, then listen closely, because the ending matters as much as the beginning. You have not been living in a world that stands apart from you, watching you from across the room, deciding your fate by rules you cannot touch. You have been living inside your own consciousness made visible. The body, the bank account, the lover, the rival, the family pattern, the stranger on the street, the heavy silence in the room, the strange ease of one lucky afternoon. None of these have been the true cause of your life. They have been responses. They have been echoes. They have been the mirror answering the one who has stood before it all along. And that one has been you. Always you. This is not meant to crush you. It is meant to free you. Because if your life has been shaped by the assumptions you carry, then those assumptions can be changed right now, quietly, deliberately. You do not need permission. You do not need to wait for the world to become kind first. You do not need to collect proof before you begin. You begin within. You decide what is now true of you. You decide whether love is available. You decide whether life can support you. You decide whether you are chosen, seen, respected, and safe. Then you return to that decision until it becomes more than a sentence, until it becomes a feeling, then a posture, then a home. And when it becomes home, the mirror starts to answer. Maybe not all at once. Life has weight. All scenes take a little time to loosen. But the shift comes, first in the atmosphere, then in the details, then in the bigger scenes you once thought could never change. You may notice it in small ways before you see it in the major ones. An ordinary Tuesday feels lighter for no clear reason. A stranger meets your eyes with warmth. A conversation goes better than expected. A door that has always stayed shut opens just a little. And that little opening matters more than most people know, because it is evidence. It is the first crack in the old reflection. Then more signs come, not because the outside world suddenly became generous on its own, but because something in you stopped broadcasting the old story with such loyalty. This is where many people miss the miracle. They wait for thunder. They wait for one giant event. But often the change begins like a shift in weather. Subtle, soft, yet undeniable if you are paying attention. Then one day you look around and realize that what once felt impossible now feels natural. The pattern has changed. The tone has changed. The people have changed. Or your experience of them has changed so much, it is like meeting them again. And you finally understand this truth, not as a theory, not as a line from a speech, not as something beautiful you once heard late at night, but as lived experience. The world was never standing apart from you. It was never the great enemy at the gate. It was never the final authority. It was the visible face of your invisible self, reflecting back with perfect patience whatever you had accepted as true. So go back to the source. Go back to the original. Do not waste your whole life fighting shadows on the wall when the light is behind you. Decide who you are. Decide what is true now. Decide whether you are still going to keep that old identity that made struggle feel normal, or whether you are ready to become someone new from the inside out. Do not wait for total confidence. Begin anyway. Do not wait for every doubt to disappear. Return again anyway. Do not ask the mirror for permission to change. It has none to give. It only reflects. That is its job. Your job is to choose. To choose the inner state you will now call home. To choose the self you will now occupy. To choose again and again until choosing becomes being. And when being changes, the world must answer. That is not wishful thinking. That is law at the level of consciousness. So tonight, leave behind the old habit of blaming the scene, chasing the symptom, begging the reflection to behave differently. Turn inward. Revise the original. Stay there long enough for it to feel real, then normal, then obvious. And when the outer world begins to echo that change, do not be surprised. It has been waiting all along, as it always waits, with absolute patience and perfect obedience for the one before the mirror to decide at last who they truly are.